There was a time when General Motors was the largest and finest automaker in the US, but that is not the case anymore. The company was on its knees in 2009 and declared bankruptcy. Even though it was back on its feet quickly, General Motors is once again struggling with its leadership and its production. On top of that, the CEO, Mary Barra, seems to be making one bad decision after another. GM recently shut down the production of its pickup trucks because the company has more trucks in the inventory than the buyers. Now, Mary Barra has announced a decision that could push a once loyal, die-hard customer base over the edge. General Motors made an announcement in March 2023, stating that it plans to discontinue support for Apple CarPlay and Android Auto in its electric vehicles. The backlash was swift and fierce. Industry experts and consumers alike were quick to criticize the move as short-sighted and a major misstep for the company. Some have even gone as far as to say that this decision could have disastrous consequences for GM's future in the EV market. General Motors' decision to ditch Apple CarPlay and Android Auto in its electric vehicles is a risky move that could end up costing the company dearly. For starters, both of these smartphone integration systems have become increasingly popular among consumers, who now expect them to be available in any new car they buy. Robbie DeGraff works as an analyst at Auto Pacific, a company that does research and marketing in the automotive industry. He stated, "Based on all of our research over the past few years, there's definitely massive demand and interest in Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. By eliminating support for these systems, GM risks alienating potential buyers who may decide to go with a competitor that still offers this functionality. But the consequences of this decision could be even more far-reaching. In the fiercely competitive world of electric vehicles, every little advantage counts, and removing CarPlay and Android Auto could be perceived as a major mistake. GM is already playing catch-up in the EV market, and this move could make it even harder for the company to establish itself as a serious player. Imagine showing up to a basketball game with one arm tied behind your back. It's not exactly a winning strategy. GM's recent decision to move away from CarPlay and Android Auto has upset many people who are not ready to make the switch yet. And now people are announcing on Twitter that they will not buy a GM car without Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. This is not surprising given the car industry's history of poor software, and the fact that Apple and Android systems are extremely popular. In fact, GM used to boast about having more CarPlay and Android Auto-compatible cars than any other automaker. One of the biggest complaints from new car owners is that infotainment systems are hard to use and have integration issues with smartphones. CarPlay and Android Auto became popular because they are easy to use and work seamlessly with people's phones. Apple's research shows that almost 80% of new car buyers would only consider a car that supports CarPlay. But why has Mary Barra taken this decision that is pushing people away from GM? Before we talk about that, if you think that the video is interesting, please give it a like and subscribe to our channel so that you don't miss any great videos like this one. Thank you, we appreciate your viewership. Now let's see why Mary Barra has taken this decision that people are calling ridiculous. GM says they are dropping phone mirroring systems like Apple CarPlay and Android Auto because they want to better integrate the in-car user experience with other features like the Level 2 semi-automated driving system. The company believes this is more important than providing in-car entertainment systems that customers actually want. The automotive company wants to create a more user-friendly and better navigation system. Mike Hickme, who leads digital cockpit experience at GM, stated that they do not want to create features that a person without a smartphone can't use. If this was really a reason why GM is introducing its own infotainment system, then Mary Barra needs to answer a question that people are continuously wanting to ask. Who in this world has around $65,000 to buy an EV but not a smartphone? The real reason for this change could be that in the near future, your car may not only be a means of transportation, but also a source of consumer data and subscription features. While this might not be what all drivers desire, it's a trend that the auto industry is banking on for massive profits. General Motors hopes to see its subscription revenue increase to a whopping $25 billion per year by 2030. Maybe Barra is trying too hard to compete with Tesla, which had never offered Android Auto or CarPlay, but GM and Elon's company have huge differences. Tesla is already a dominant player in the EV market, but the same cannot be said for GM yet. GM acknowledged that some customers may not be thrilled about the decision to get rid of the beloved smartphone mirroring systems. Stuart Fowle, Director of Global Product Development at GM, said they saw the backlash coming, but also believes it's understandable if folks haven't had a chance to check out the new option they're working on. Despite the pushback, GM is sticking to its guns and is excited about what's to come. However, At the end of the day, customers' opinions are what matters most. Elon Musk is known for sparring with competitors, and many people believe that Mary Barra is trying to follow the same approach, but it could cost a lot to the company, not only financially but in credibility too. Elon Musk recently announced that GM could be in deep financial trouble, hinting that the company could go bankrupt once again. And the recent performance of GM also shows that the Tesla owner might be correct. With Mary Barra as the leader, GM has been continuously running behind on the delivery of its vehicles. Not only that, the most popular GM EV is the Bolt EV EUV, but the company incurs a loss with every sale of this car. So it is obvious that Mary Barra also needs to focus on cutting costs, and that is why the company also laid off many employees recently. Barra announced that General Motors plans to cut $2 billion in costs over the next 2 years. The decision to downsize its workforce has angered netizens, and this public backlash is once again taking a toll on the company's reputation. Apparently, these are not the only worrisome actions taken by Mary Barra. The list of questionable announcements by her is very long. We wonder whether any of the cuts will come from her own $29 million annual salary. Recently, Barra made a big move by halting production of their pickup trucks at 2 major plants, one in Indiana and the other in Mexico. These plants churn out incredibly popular trucks like the Chevrolet Silverado and GMC Sierra, so you might be wondering why they would do such a thing. Well, it all comes down to inventory and money. GM had more trucks in stock than there were buyers, which meant that they'd have to start selling them at a discount. But instead of taking that hit, GM decided to put a temporary hold on production. This way, they can keep the prices and profits high. Undoubtedly, this made people think that all the company thinks about is profits. A report from Edmunds.com revealed that more than 80% of car sales in January 2023 went for higher than the manufacturer's suggested retail price. And the average transaction price clocked in at $728 above MSRP. If you think that's a lot, you should know that some buyers even shelled out an extra $10,000 or more to get behind the wheel of their dream car. Analysts estimate that these extra charges added up to a whopping $3.6 billion. And this is happening when the competitors like Tesla are slashing prices and making their EVs more affordable. GM's decision to phase out support for Apple CarPlay and Android Auto in its electric vehicles is a risky move that could have serious consequences for the company. Prices are high, reputation is not what it used to be, and people believe that Mary Barra is destroying the reasons for people to buy GM EVs. She has promised to lead the company and take over Tesla by 2025. However, many believe that the current situation only shows that she is leading GM to bankruptcy. What do you think? Let us know in the comments section. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. See you in the next video.